This is the Aftermarket Radio Network. Hey, you're listening to Remarkable Results Radio, and I'm your host, Carm Capriano, the pioneer of automotive aftermarket podcasts. Hey, are you willing to change your business one small little step at a time? You know, every episode that we create is meant to spark change and elevate the industry. Now, I heard from many at APPEX 2021 this year on how our commitment to advance the aftermarket has given them ideas and the spirit to reach their next goal. Hey, please follow us on your favorite podcast listening app and make the commitment to be a perpetual student. In this episode, Darrin Barney discusses an overview of a class that he presented at ASTE 2021. It was titled, Pay Plans Used by the Top Shops in America. Some excellent ideas and insights that every shop owner can use in their business. Now, as your business and employees change, so should your compensation plans. Darrin also explains the importance of guiding principles, goals, and employee retention. Hey, thanks so much to our partner, Napa, for sponsoring this episode. You know, Napa Expo is coming July 18th through the 21st, 2022. Napa is dedicated to putting on a safe and valuable in-person experience, and we will be following all appropriate protocols to ensure all attendees enjoy their experience safely. We hope to see you in Las Vegas, July 18th through the 21st, 2022. Contact your Napa representative today. Look, be sure you're offering your people great career opportunities along with a great compensation package. Now, let's jump into this episode with Darrin Barney. Hey, a warm welcome to Darrin Barney, my friend Darrin Barney from Colorado. Hi, man.
Hey, Carm, how are you?
Good to have you here. Barney Brothers Off-Road in, what's the city again?
Grand Junction,
That's
Colorado.
Right, Grand Junction. You and I did an episode so long ago, and when I saw you were going to be here at ASTE, I said, oh, what a great opportunity.
Man, I've been looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. Sponsored by my great partner, Shopware. Glad to have them supporting us. Not only does Darrin run a really great shop, he's also an elite part-time coach. And so you're here teaching this incredible topic, pay plans used by the top shops in America. Wow. I mean, I don't know. That to me, I would make sure I signed up for that if I was a shop owner. I know we're gonna talk about building this whole compensation thing from the top down. You got to start somewhere, and I love where he's going to go with that. And then how to build a great comp plan he's going to touch on, and then how to keep your team. So, I mean, I just want to excite the audience as to what we're going to do. So let's start. Top down stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you got to have?
When you interview a superstar, they're interviewing you. Okay. And
they should be, at least, right?
Yeah. Well, no, they are. Every superstar I've ever interviewed has always been interviewing me.
Got it.
If it's a superstar, they know what they want.
Yeah.
And they're going to ask you all those questions. And a superstar does not want a job, a job. They want an opportunity. They want to feel like they're a part of something larger. And so if you want to attract the best people, you need to know where you're going.
So I think you may have broken the code. If you're interviewing someone tomorrow, my friend who's listening, and you don't feel like you're being interviewed, you may have the wrong guy or lady in front of you.
Yeah. I mean, you want to be uncomfortable when you're interviewing somebody and they're asking you questions back, and you feel like, oh my goodness, I really got to be on my A game because this guy's going to hold me accountable. That's the guy I want on my team.
What kind of questions are you looking for?
Oh my goodness.
As an owner.
Where's your future? What's your 10-year plan? You know, what are you planning? What's your succession plan? All those things make you uncomfortable as a shop owner when somebody asks you that if you don't have clarity and you don't know where you're going.
We've done shows on this before, and, somebody just saying, if someone at the other end that you're hiring for a key position doesn't ask you what your succession plan is, and you're not rolled over by that, is there family? Are you looking for an internal candidate? What are you going to do? Well, hell, I'm only 48. It doesn't matter to me. I'd like to know, because is there future, is there opportunity? Where's the business going? And who knows, maybe I may have an opportunity if I come to work for you and prove to you.
Well, I mean, are we in this great market where you can just go find techs everywhere? We're not. We're in a weird place right now. I don't care who it is, industry-wide. Yeah. It is a short time for technicians. We're very short on them. So if you find a good tech, 90% of the time he's going to be employed somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you got to make a move, though, right? You got to convince them to come to your team.
At dinner last night with a bunch of really good people, and one of the thoughts was you hire somebody and they're going to, okay, great, do the deal, 2 weeks notice, they're going to go back to wherever they're going to go back to. And the percentages, I guess, of a lot of people not showing up because they're getting a counteroffer or they're rethinking this stuff because you didn't manage the wife or the significant other piece well enough.
Take home benefits.
Yeah, all that stuff.
When you hire Mary, you're getting Larry, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the truth.
No, exactly right.
I mean,
and the thought and a lot of, I used to call it ghosting when, all of a sudden people say, I'm not coming through text on the day they're supposed to arrive.
Yeah.
And you as the shop owner or the person who did the hiring wonders, what did you do? How bad did you perform? Why did this happen? I was excited. I thought they were excited. And a person at the table said, just tell them if you start tomorrow, I'll give you $1,000 in cash,
right?
and have the $10 $100 bills laid out on the desk.
You can, but would you want to have that guy working for you?
I don't know.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
No way.
That he was just motivated by coming tomorrow for money, right?
Correct. Okay. I mean, that's just a personal value. I mean, I understand people have different views on things, but a good employee to me, when I offer him that job and he says, you know what, I got to give my other work 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
I'm like, I appreciate that. I really do. And I know that's old school, but that's the way. If I got a guy that's going to, that's fine, I'll start tomorrow. I'm just going to go in and quit today and get my toolbox and I'll be right in tomorrow. I don't want that guy.
Has it happened to you in the past?
Of course it has.
And what'd you learn from all of that?
It's one of those things that I know that if a technician never quits at the right time, ever. It just doesn't work that way. It's the universe is wired, right? And so I don't ever want to have that. And I understand people argue, well, once a technician, gives her 2 weeks, you got to let them go. I get that. But the right people are still going to continue to do good quality work. And I would gladly accept that challenge and that debate because I've had good techs that have gone somewhere else, given me their 2 weeks and still do the good quality work because they're good people. So I understand that that's kind of a fantasy land. But if you hire the right people, then they're going to do that for you. And I don't want that guy that comes in and just goes, hey, man, we're booked out 3 weeks at my shop currently.
Yeah.
If one of my good superstar techs came into me and quit tomorrow and you just said, hey, I'm done today, it would really screw me and my customers. Yeah. And that tech, the people that I have working for me are concerned about the customers as well. Yeah. So
we're going to talk about top shops in America and the pay plans that Darrin is exposed to as a part-time elite coach. At the top, you got to have the vision, the mission, the guiding principles, the purpose of the business defined. Because if you're really hiring the right person, they're going to want to know that.
They do. Once again, a superstar is not going to just leave their current place of employment where they have friends, where they have history, where they have security, all these things to come work for you, unless you are there getting a better opportunity. It's not about money. It's not. You look at these Harvard studies and all these things that people have done, and they find out that money is one of the lowest things. Out of the top 10, it's number 8 or 9. It's not towards the top.
Do you believe in this principle that people leave people, not companies?
Of course they do.
Yeah. And if you've ever lost a good person, do an exit interview to try to figure out what happened?
Yeah, of course. But most of the time you know.
No, most of the time you know.
You do. If you're close to your employees. If you're not, then it's really important to do that exit interview and really do it purposely. But most of the time I know why.
So how do you get close to your employees?
You have to spend time with them.
Okay, tell me how.
I mean, Joe Marconi talks about being a sniper manager. Sniper manager only goes out and just shoots people from a distance and tells them they're doing a bad job.
Right.
You have to be involved. You have to go out. As a shop owner, I have to go out and walk around the bays and, talk to them and interact with them and ask them how their weekend went. And not just superficially ask, but really be concerned and care.
And know their goals.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to be involved in their lives. So,
what about reviews, 360 reviews? Listen, we want to come in and talk about how you're doing in the company, but tell me, how am I doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is we encourage the 50-25-25 interview process. So 50% is you interviewing the person and talking with them about how their performance is doing on the job. The next 25% is the interviewee, the employee, will interview and talk about the company, and they're going to review the company. The final 25 is them interviewing their boss, the person that's sitting in front of it. So.
That's incredibly smart. I'm not sure there's enough people doing that, and it probably reflects in losing people and finding it really difficult to find good people.
Well, it's scary though. As a shop owner, we take this really personal, right? I mean, it's your name on the building. It's you put in the blood, sweat, and tears, and then to have some guy come in and tell you that you're not doing things correctly, you're not handling things properly. It's hard. You don't want to hear that, but when you take it and listen to that, you can actually grow and
the clients that you've worked with over the years, the friends in your peer network, this kind of HR stuff,
right?
It's got to be out of their comfort zone.
Of course it is. The shop owner.
Yeah.
I mean, what that means is that normally, we find that most shop owners are technicians that thought they could do it better. And so they go out and they start their own business. And they are still a technician at heart. They like to work with their hands. And so what that means, they don't normally know how to talk to people correctly. And they learn through trial and error and years of struggling. They learn how to do that.
Have you ever been with a client or a group of people that had those aha moments and said, I've got to grow up? I don't mean that in a negative way, but grow from the technician working into a business professional working on?
Of course.
Have you seen that?
Oh, I love it. That's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
No, it is, because all of a sudden
exactly
they understand.
Right, yeah.
It's like, whoa, I got to do this work. I got to be the one to do the work. And then all of a sudden everything clicks, and it's like, and they get motivated and they're on fire and they're doing books and they're coming to you and they're texting you and they're like, hey, check out this new book I found, and it's, oh my goodness, you have to read it. It's so incredible. And it's because they got that fire and they ran with it. That's where the big growth happens and the big changes in business. The clients I have that are very successful, it's because they've taken it upon themselves. And I just help. I'm just there to guide and ask questions and just challenge things.
But they have to. I mean, you cannot carry them over the finish line.
You can't.
They're going to have to want.
I'm not there. Like I always tell them, it's like I'm getting the 40,000 view. I'm looking down from above. I'm not in the trenches with you guys. And I always tell them that. It's like I have the great ability to either personal or business. So I'm not there. I'm just telling you that the numbers show that this guy is not selling. I understand he's great. I understand that he's good with customers. But the numbers show that he's not. I'm not partial. I don't know the guy. I don't know him from anybody except from what you've told me. So once again, this is personal or is this business? And that's where we have to make that distinction, as a business owner and as a coach or whatever it may be, that we have to look at things that way.
So thanks for setting this up. I know we're here to talk about compensation plans and, having to have mission, vision, values, and purpose and all that stuff. And so there's a lot of shop owners out there that are on their way with that, but they're struggling with how to build a good comp plan. So take us through your strategies.
Okay. So number one is we have to know where you're going. You have to have a good, clear, basically direction of where you're wanting your company to go. I've had shop owners tell me, it's like, I've got a mission statement. And, it's like, well, okay, I get that. But when's the last time you looked at it? Well, 15 years ago when we opened a store. And don't you think it's time to revisit your mission statement? So I encourage everybody to dream. Think about where you really want to go with your business and then rewrite your mission statement. Make sure it's clear and concise. Make sure that it is exactly where you want your business to go. This plays many different roles here. And I know mission statements, people have been talking about it for years and blah, 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 but there's actually logic behind it, because if you believe in your mission statement, your people are going to believe in it too. And they're going to see you acting it out. So you have to have that mission statement. Next is going to be your guiding principles.
Acting it out, doing what it says,
of course,
is the key, because they're going to emulate you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so a perfect example, and I shared the story yesterday, that I had a customer of mine, really good friend, somebody that spent a lot of money in my store. In fact, you and I may even talked about this, and he lives he's an oil field guy, and he worked in Midland, Texas. And it's about a 16-hour drive from Grand Junction, Colorado. So he's driving there. Halfway there, his brake line goes out. We just lifted his truck, and he calls me on the side of the road. He says, "I have no brakes." He goes, "I'm very pissed at you. I'm done with you guys. I'm so mad right now." And so I'm freaking out because I'm going, wow, okay, Kelly, calm down. We got you taken care of, and this new guy, that new hire that I had that I'm training, he's literally shadowing with me, and we're talking, and he knows everything that's going on. So I hang up the phone, and he goes, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to go take my vehicle, and I'm going to go drop it off to him, and I'm going to let him take it for 2 weeks, and I'll get his truck fixed, and we'll figure out how to make everything else work." And he's like, "Well, why not get him a tow truck and get him a rental car?" And I said, "Because that's not what I need to do for this particular situation." So I did. I went and got in his truck, drove 8 hours to go pick up his truck, drove it back to the shop, worked most of the night, got it fixed. We happened to have the parts in stock, drove it back to Midland, Texas, 16 hours away the next day, and got my 4Runner and drove it all the way back home. But it set that example to that employee, he's still with me, that we do whatever it takes to make the customer happy.
That's a story that can be told over and over again on how the principles of the business.
Of course. I mean, but the thing is that I didn't just tell that. I don't just have it written on the wall. This is, we're going to treat every customer as a friend, right? I live it. And it's the truth, and that's the cool thing is that my employees know that individual employee, he saw that firsthand. He was actually the guy that answered the phone call when this guy was really upset. He's just reading the riot act, and he goes, "Oh my goodness, where did I come to work?" And then here it's like, "Yeah, we got it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, something happened. We're going to get it taken care of. It doesn't matter what happened. We got it." So my point, though, is just that if you don't know where that is, if you haven't thought through that mission statement, taken it seriously, and really believe in it, then you can't do the next step, which is the guiding principles. So guiding principles are all the pieces that help you to get that mission statement done.
Is that like a value set?
It is.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Is it a paragraph? Are they listed? And say, for example, I didn't have guiding principles in my company. Would I reach out to my team and says, hey, let's work on this?
A couple different ways that you can do this. Okay. Well, what I like to do is I'd like to get my team involved and work through it together. And what it is, this is the mission statement. How are we going to achieve that? Okay. So I learned this from Elite. I learned it from Bobby, because Bob's just a genius when it comes to this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So he has a strong mission statement. And then when I joined with Elite, he's like, okay, well, I need you to memorize these, mission statement or these, guiding principles.
Yeah.
So one of the guiding principles of Elite is we never put money ahead of people.
That works for almost any company, isn't it? It's a universal right. In fact, not the word that you have the right, but a right thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So there's numerous guiding principles, but they all help me as an employee to know how I'm going to achieve that mission statement. So as I'm dealing with a customer and he comes up to me and I'm at Elite and he comes to me and he says, hey, this coaching program just isn't meeting my needs. I'm just not happy with what I feel I'm getting value out of this, whatever it may be. One of the other guiding principles is that I'm to ensure the success of each and every client and take it as a personal responsibility. So I know that that's my responsibility to deal with this now. And I'm going to do everything I can to take care of that situation so the customer does feel, or the client does feel like he's getting what he feels is a good value.
Yeah. Could you share a couple from your own company?
Yeah, of course. My favorite one is that we treat every, customer as a friend.
Yeah.
And so that means going above and beyond to make sure the customer is happy.
Do you also have we put people before money in your?
I don't.
You don't?
I probably need to. You know, so we do the right things for the right reason.
Well, that's strong. That's important. The thing I love about the guiding principles is if someone strayed and you were going to sit and say, hey, come on in the office, let's talk about this. You can go back to those guiding principles and redirect a person's behavior.
Of course.
It's never about the person, it's always about their behavior. You want to, if you're going to change that and show them what you expect, those guiding principles is the foundation.
That's correct. They're really nice because, once again, as an employee, you know how to get things done. When one of my guys is dealing with an upset customer, he knows that he needs to make it right. He's going to make it right.
Yeah.
There's not a gray area. Well, I don't know what Darrin would do here because he's not here, or whatever it may be. It's like, no, he knows that I need to take care of this customer.
What would Darrin do? Question.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And sooner or later, when they're making those, what would Darrin do decisions on their very own, you've achieved something pretty powerful.
Of course. That's what every success to every business is: strong people. People leave people, they don't leave companies. That there's a lot of power in that.
I used to tear myself up all over that when I'd lose somebody good. And
right.
And I learned from every one of those opportunities, but when someone would leave and unfortunately, never tell you why. Mm-hmm. So mumble, and it's time to leave. Well, why is it time to leave? And I remember trying to do a root canal on one of my most favorite people that left me.
Right.
It crushed me.
Sure. Realizing
that it had to be about me.
Right.
And I could never, ever get an answer. Never. I'm telling you, it's so crystal clear. It was 25 some years ago. It's still crystal clear with me.
What do you think?
I may not have paid enough attention to this individual and the needs of this particular store that this individual was the manager of. He was so good at what he did.
Right.
I left him alone on autopilot.
Sure.
That's what I think happened.
I bet you're probably correct.
Yeah.
He may not even have known that. He may have just loved you to the moon and back, but he may have felt that, something isn't right here. So that's probably why he couldn't tell you. Maybe it hurt too much to tell you that.
I'd love to look him up, Bob. I'd love to look you up and find out the real reason. Here we're saying a little confession here right now. Well, thank you for getting this out of me.
But that self-reflection is important.
I know.
That's what helps you be the best you can be.
Yeah.
But you realizing that you didn't give enough attention to that individual person, maybe that's what it was.
Maybe.
But how you can do that when you talk with Tracy here?
Yeah.
My goodness, you have a superstar lady here. You told me all about how awesome she is. When's the last time you told her that yourself?
I think on the plane down, maybe, yeah.
See?
Or every day on Slack, maybe.
Usually every day.
Yeah, usually every day.
So, how awesome is that? You learned, though, right?
Yeah. Trust me, I know how important that is. Yeah. And every once in a while, people tell me that I'm doing okay.
Of course you are. But you go through that, though.
But when you're the leader, you have to accept the fact that you're not going to get all kinds of accolades, yet customers love how well your business runs. It's a real super reflection on your leadership.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, you have to take care of your people. You have to. If you've got a good team, you have to take care of them. Otherwise, somebody else will.
Hey, Carm here. Now, coming up, Darrin discusses the importance of 10-minute team huddles at the beginning of each day. Hey, it's Carm here, talking to you about what the Napa Auto Care Center program can do for your business. Now, you probably already know the Napa brand is the most recognized and trusted name in the automotive aftermarket industry. In fact, studies show that 95% of consumers recognize Napa and associate it with quality parts, service, and technical expertise. So why not complete a Pro Image upgrade and take advantage of that? Pro Image is a co-branding program for the exterior and interior of your shop. On the outside, it includes the Napa colors and distinctive Napa signage. While the public may know you as a reliable, locally owned business, a Pro Image upgrade helps set your shop apart from the competition even further. It's also a visual signal to customers and potential customers that you and Napa are partners. Most importantly, Pro Image really works. This co-branding opportunity has helped Napa Auto Care Centers across the country increase their car counts and sales. In fact, those that have completed a Pro Image project enjoy an average 23% sales increase during the first year. Pro Image upgrades are also available for the interior of your shop. A Pro Image interior upgrade transforms your customer waiting area from merely utilitarian to warm and welcoming. The goal is to maintain your shop's independent identity while enhancing the customer's experience. You can get a free look at what a Pro Image exterior and interior upgrade could look like by visiting the Napa Auto Care members site and clicking on the Napa Pro Image link under the Napa Pro Image tab. Or contact your local Napa Auto Parts store. Your servicing Napa store can tell you more about Pro Image, plus the hundreds of other reasons to become part of the Napa Auto Care family, the largest network of independent automotive repair shops in the country. Can you, if you will, give us some framework on how to build some good comp plans?
So once you know those basic things right there, those are really important because everything else goes underneath that.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody has a basic compensation. Okay. So you have to be competitive wages. I mean, that's a give and play. So you got to have that. Next, you got to have opportunistic income. So opportunistic income means that it's above that base pay. So if it's technician, whether it's going to be flat rate or it's going to be a hybrid pay plan where they get above a certain amount of billable hours, they get an additional pay, whatever it may be, you have to figure that out for your individual business. With so many different states, I can't tell you. I mean, I love Colorado because it's flat rate, and I can do that. And my guys love it. And if I told one of my techs to get 70 hours a week that I was going to cut him back to 40, he'd quit. He'd go somewhere else. So you have to figure out what works for your individual state. California is so strict, you cannot do any form of flat rate, but you can do incentives where if you get above this amount, you're going to get an extra $2 an hour or whatever it may be. So you have to figure out how to get that opportunistic income.
I can't imagine the stress as a coach with people in different states. And if you're working on this segment of their business with them, that
oh my goodness.
How many shop owners don't necessarily know the rules and the laws? The Department of Labor and giving, here's an incentive. If they're hourly, they've got to get an overtime kick on it, right?
Of course.
I mean, it's scary. I've known people that have gone through an audit.
Yeah.
And paid damn handsomely for their mistakes because they could just think that they could just give somebody a bonus.
Yeah, and you can't. No, you can't. It has to be on payroll.
Yeah.
Any state's that way.
I know. And so
it's crazy.
There's a huge lesson right here. I mean, I think we've popped a lot of great ideas on our listener, but that's important. Don't do something unless you know that whatever you're going to do has some legality behind it.
There's a company called Cisco. Cisco is employee management stuff. And with elite clients, you actually get that for free. And you can call them and ask for, limited help on things.
Oh, cool.
It's really neat because that way, and I encourage my clients to do that. I don't want to get in the middle of it. That's not my thing.
Got it. No.
So that way I give them the number and they can call them and they can say, hey, I'm in the state of California. I'm looking at a pay plan for this. Will you look it over?
Yeah.
So,
cool.
I mean, in normal, anybody can do that too. You just have to pay.
Great idea. So, opportunistic pay plan.
Yep, and that works really well for technicians and service advisors as well. Service advisors, normally what you do is you'll give them a bonus on any, once again, depending on your business model, on labor hours is how I like to do it. I don't like to do it on parts because I don't want to have my customers getting screwed. You get the wrong guy in there and he's going to go, hey, you know what, I can mark this up to 80% and, make some extra money on my paycheck. like to do the labor hours.
So I'm working for you, and I got this really cool plan going out, and a combination of everything. And how am I doing? I mean, do I get a review? Do I see some numbers? How am I doing? Is there a Wednesday review and a Friday review, or is there an every 2-week review? Is my bonus at the end of the month? I just don't want to be surprised you didn't make it. Well, I didn't know I didn't.
Oh no,
make
you
it.
have to have everything written. Everything has to be written out.
Yeah.
It has to be. There can be no hidden stuff in pay plans. It has to be completely transparent.
I sat in a Bob Cooper class for about an hour one day. He was going on for maybe 2 or 3 on this exact thing, by the way, Darrin.
Yeah.
And I saw charts and graphs and all this stuff, and I realized that it was creative as hell, but sometimes in order to do the right thing, you gotta have some levels and steps and incentives along the way. I was pretty impressed with it. It's starting. The things you're telling me is reminding me.
I was there.
Oh, you were there?
In Texas, ASA Texas.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
The national meeting, probably 2 years ago.
Okay, all right. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yep, and that was, and that's the same thing I went over yesterday. Is on the technician pay plan. We literally have this, sheet that we handed out that goes along from a general service tech all the way up to an L1S or L1L2, master certified tech. So, and the steps to get there in pay wise. So if you're looking at it just once again, completely throwing dollars out the window here. If we start at $15 and you want to end up at $50, these are the steps you have to do to get there. And so you have to have a certain amount of limited comebacks. You have to have, efficiency. All that stuff is included in
ASEs.
So, of course.
Yeah, all of that's in the plan.
It is.
It sounds so smart today because it reminds me of engagement.
That's what it is. I mean, if you're an employee and you work for me at Barney Brothers and you want to know how you can get up to the next pay, you just have to look at the sheet and go, oh, okay, yeah, I only have one of my ASC certs. I need to get, all 8 of them or whatever to get into the next pay room. Or I need to get up to this efficiency. Or I need to get this, percentage of comebacks. Whatever it is, everything is there. It's in black and white.
So somebody is sitting across from you, you're interviewing somebody, and it's now time to talk about comp. But instead of you talking about comp, you're going to talk about the growth opportunity and all these wonderful steps along the way that they can earn up to. Do you see someone say, "Oh my God, that's exactly what I'm looking for"? Do you ever have people say, "This is why I want to come to work here"?
They don't normally say it in those words, but normally they accept, right? I mean, in this economy, in this weirdness with the technician shortage, when they actually want to come to work for you, you've done something correct. Especially when they're employed. I'm not talking about the low hanging fruit guy. The technician that's unemployed right now. I'm talking about the guy. I mean, most good techs are employed. They are. And so if you get them to come to work for you, you've done something right.
Next step.
Identified basic compensation. I probably need to back up on that a little bit because, you need to make sure that you're doing uniforms, paid vacation. You need to make sure that you're doing all the basic things that any other shop, any good quality shop is going to do. And they're going to be doing those basic things. Okay, and that's going to be uniforms. It's going to be paid vacation. It's going to be paid days off, which is Christmas, Thanksgiving, July, all those standard days. We call it oxygen, every shop offers that. So that's the basics you have to do. And then from there, obviously, we get into opportunistic income. They want to know that they're going to be pushed and challenged. So what that can mean is giving them, telling them that they need to do continued training and education each year. It's just a requirement for employment. So I like to have that included because I want them to know, even my service people or my counter people, my service writers, they have to have continued education as well. And so what that means is that's up to them. Either we send them through the master's course, which is something that I teach with at Elite, and it's a great 6-month service advisor training that is just awesome. But that can be included in that training time. It may be reading books. It may be attending classes. I mean, there's so many different things that can be included in that umbrella. But it's important that everybody knows that we have a growth environment.
It's amazing to know that our industry's top shops are doing all of this. Well, and if you who's listening, who is struggling and stumbled into this podcast because it's your private networking thing and you're hearing all this stuff and saying, wow, it sounds like big corporation stuff. Well, it's not.
It's not. No, if you want to attract the best people you can attract, you have to do this. You have to. There's just no gray area. You have to do it. So that is the biggest portion of creating a good pay plan right there. Okay. And you have to have take-home benefit, which we already talked about earlier. Yep. What that means is, once again, when you hire Mary, you're going to get, or when you hire Larry, you're getting married. Or when you're hiring Mary, you're getting married.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about the dynamic of the spouse back at home when you're interviewing someone. Walk me through just a little bit of how to engage the extended family into the discussion.
Well, I mean, insurance is a perfect example of that. you got young Tyler here, and he's 25 years old, and he doesn't think insurance is important. And so, but his wife at home with the 3 kids does think insurance is important.
Right.
So that's that take-home benefit. You know, we do retirement investment or retirement planning at our shop. I love that because it allows us to help that young guy that's 25 years old to plan for a future. You imagine if somebody would have helped you at 25 to start an IRA.
I think there were a bunch of people telling me.
Yeah, of course.
And I was just not willing to listen.
Right.
And shame on me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's the thing is that's what we do at our shop. It's such a small amount. Of course, we went to the right people. I mean, the right financial advisors to figure out what the losses we can do, what we can do legally, all that stuff. I mean, but
you know what's amazing? Let me stop you for a moment. My son works as a guidance counselor, and he just changed school districts. And he was telling me about these different, retirement plans and stuff that he's in. No choice. I mean, he's in.
Yeah.
And I'm moving this over here, and I'm doing this. And he's 34. I liked to hear that from him, and he is way ahead of me as far as retirement think. And I think we have to work harder in our industry to do that.
Of course. I mean, we have to. Especially if we even got any young techs to work for us because they're getting harder and harder to find.
And then there's the old, let's get them a Dave Ramsey course so they're stop living from paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I've heard a lot about that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's another one of the things that actually was, that I talked about yesterday is it's really important to get them to those things.
Yeah.
Give them free. I mean, what's going to cost you as a shop owner? What's it going to cost to send them to a Dave Ramsey course?
It's not expensive. I've looked it up.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Because I actually saw somebody at a party over our last holiday whose son has a shop, and I said, there's these courses from Dave Ramsey, and she didn't know.
Right.
I told her about it, and I explained a little bit about it, and she goes, I think my son has to go to that too. Any shop owner who's listening, where you're actually personally struggling.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
On that, do the Dave Ramsey, and then realize how critical and important it would be to make sure your peoples go through it too.
Right. It is. I mean, it opens up your eyes. It's just like reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's one of those things that you read it once and it's like changes your life.
You told me I got to reread that.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
No, yeah. That's Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, I'm sorry. Think and Grow Rich. Right. I did write that down, but it was great. We hooked up yesterday and talked about stuff. So we've got that thing going now. I got to keep this team.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about that because it's so important to keep that team, and you've got to do that through, once again, living out your mission statement and being that example every day and coming in and being happy and cheerful and all those things. We got to keep those people, so you got to do those reviews. You got to go out and be a part of your team. Let them know that you care. I mean, I'm a big advocate of the team huddles. I can't speak highly of that enough. And I mean, I've been featured on quite a few articles and things lately about that because team huddles are I love them. I mean, we do them every single morning. 7:50 to 8 a.m., I have my entire team there. And what happens during this meeting is we go over each one of the technicians' days. We talk about what they've got going on for the schedule. We talk about the struggles from the previous day, if it's carrying over, all those things. We talk about unhappy customers, talk about all those things that need to be addressed in that first 10 minutes. This is not designed to be one of those times you come in and complain about everything. This isn't that meeting. You have those separately. This is just a little huddle to get everybody on the same page, and everybody has to be there. So, I mean, my UPSer, which is my guy that does all my freight stuff, that checks in parts and ships things, he's there. I'm there. All my technicians are there. All my service writers, everybody's there. Service manager, everybody's there together. And service manager runs it. Gets everybody all on the same page. It creates that feeling of unity and teamwork. Once again, you hire these superstars, you have to keep them. So if they feel like they're a part of something big and feel like they're part of a team and a family, and I always make sure that the attitude's really light in there. Because you start out the day on a wrong note, then the whole day is sour. And I found this, I've been doing this huddle thing for years, and I found that I have to stand there and I have to smile and I have to be genuine and I have to joke with the guys and lightly, just keep the humor feeling light in the room. And it's amazing how the day goes smoother and everybody gets along with one another.
Everyone has a voice.
They do.
And say, for example, someone just discovered that there's a piece of equipment that's not working right. Is that the time to bring it up?
Sure. If it's something that's not going to be like, well, it's time for a new AC machine, and da-da-da-da-da.
Well, maybe that's a
and
bitch.
That is, and we don't want that. This is more like, hey, man, I'm having a problem with my hoist. I notice there's a little bit of leaking from the cylinder.
Constructive.
Yeah. Okay, cool. No problem at all.
Business building constructive ideas.
Because you turn that into what I call a bitch fest, and I hate to say bitch, but it's what it is. You don't want to have everybody coming in and complaining. It sets the mood horrible for the day.
And everything that we're doing has the connotation that we're here to serve the customer.
Yeah. And this is just a really quick team meeting. This is not the sit-down meeting that you have and you talk about how things aren't working on this certain area of the business and whatever. This is just literally just to go over the day.
And as an owner, you're listening to your people's engage in the business, and that is a huge step for connection between you and them.
Because we're all together on the same page. You know, and you're looking these people in the eye, and the way that our office is set up is that we actually have a few chairs and everybody stands, and we're all creatures of habit, right? So everybody stands in their certain area. And it's great because people are all together, and it's at the end of the meeting, it's always a joke, and I always say, okay, so who's got the thought for the day? You know, and then one of my guys will say, hey, well, Jeff's giving out hugs. Who's our service manager? You know, so Jeff will hold his arms out as a joke, and everybody just skates by him. You know, it's like, I'm not hugging this guy. He's a creeper. You know, it's that type of light joking, you know, but Johnny, he's my UPSer. I just love him. He's a great guy. And I always joke with him because he's really shy. And I say, Johnny, what's your thought for the day today? You know, and I'll make up something crazy like, well, yeah, you know, Johnny says he's giving back rubs today. You know, and he turns bright red, you know, and everybody laughs at Johnny. And it's just, but we try to leave it lighthearted though, because once again, life is hard. And I don't want to come to work and feel like it's miserable to be there.
How long are these huddles?
10 minutes.
And do the guys, ladies look forward to them?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have, every once in a while, you have some guy that is consistently late 1 or 2 times, and then I call it out. Because
you do.
Everybody else is there. Oh, yeah. Of course.
You don't wait for that person. You start on time.
Yeah, of course we do, because I want to hear impacts at 8.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hear working at 8 o'clock, because these guys are on flat rate. They want to be out producing too, you know.
So if you start at 7:58, you go for 10 minutes.
Yep. No, 7:50.
Oh, 7:50. I'm sorry, I missed that part. 7:50.
To 8 o'clock.
End at 8, done. And we start work.
Yep.
So it's great. Everybody realizes that they're in and on time.
Yeah. And it has to be done at 8 o'clock because the doors are going off, customers are coming in. But I want to get them back to work.
If I punch the clock, do I punch in at 7:50 every morning?
Of course.
God.
And it's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't mind paying it for it because it's one of those things that's well worth it. Once again, if Johnny, my UPSer, if he has to run a customer home, and he hears in that team meeting that the last time he was in, this customer didn't get the best service, Johnny's going to whoa him on the way home. Johnny knows, and Johnny's going to take care of it, and he's going to be like, you know, taking care of the guy and giving him that extra love and attention that he needs when he runs him home. How else would you let him know that unless you have these team huddles? You know, so,
what other strategies on keeping people?
I mean, you got to continue to, you know, do your employee reviews and talk with them and know what their goals and plans are, things we've already talked about. But
ever help somebody buy a house?
Have I personally?
Well,
I've shown them how to do it.
Shown them how to do it. I mean, at least you knew that was one of their goals.
Of course.
And you helped them with it. I mean, even if it was advice, encouragement.
When you know those things, of course. Yeah, because then you can help them to reach those goals. You can say, you know, if you were to achieve these things by getting these, you know, performance-based pay, here you go. This is how you're going to afford to do that. Do
you know the goals of all of your people?
I'd like to say yes, but no, because not all of them have them. You know, it's just they want to. Without naming names, one of my guys is that he just doesn't have any goals. And so he'll come into the meeting. His thing is that he just likes to be there. And that's fine. But I mean, I've given every opportunity to that. And that position that he is in is a position of not growth. And it's fine. I'm great with that. You know, I mean, I knew that when I hired him. You know, one of the questions I ask is if money was not an issue, what would you do with the rest of your life? You know what he told me? I play video games. I'd play video games all the time. But I knew that hiring him, that he's never going to be a superstar at my shop in growing and achieving things. He's a superstar at what he does. He's incredible at what he does. But I know that, and it's fine. You know, his goals are wants to go on a hog hunt or whatever it is.
Don't try to change him, huh?
So, no, not at all. But I knew that for that particular position, it doesn't need to be that guy that's going to be coming to me and saying, hey, I want to do this, this, and this. So I don't normally encourage somebody to hire, you know, on a low-hanging fruit per se, but the guy's really good at what he does. So,
last call. What did we miss?
I think it's really important that you have to live what you believe, and if you don't know what you believe, then you need to figure it out. What's your purpose for getting up in the morning? You can't get people on to go on the flaming car ride over the cliff if you don't believe in what you're doing. I know that's probably a good analogy.
No, that's interesting.
I mean, but really, if you don't believe in it, then your team's not going to believe in it either.
You got to have followers that would be willing to take that bullet, I guess. Right. What you're saying.
You do. Yeah. So,
hey, man, thanks. Darrin Barney from Barney Brothers Off-Road, an elite part-time coach who's here at ASTE to do a great summit. You've already done it, right?
Yeah, did it yesterday. Yes, sir.
So tell me, what did the people are leaving and they come up to you? There, some eyes light up.
It was honestly, it was really awesome. It was really cool.
Cool.
It was really rewarding to be able to be there and have people come up to you and talk and ask questions. And, we get our evaluation forms. And it was cool to be able to see people really happy with the presentation and the content. So
good to see you. Even though we're post-pandemic, we're not quite sure. We're all still wearing masks in the hallways and we're everywhere we're going, but everybody's playing nice.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks, Carm. Appreciate it. Tracy, thank you.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time.